Hello, Hofstra fans, and welcome to the WV Mason Coaches Report with Seth Tierney, the head coach of Hofstra Men's Lacrosse. Good morning, Coach. How's everything going today?
Morning, Nick. Doing all right. How you doing?
Good to hear. It's Thursday, which means we're 2 days closer to the Hofstra's first home game in what feels like forever. Let's wind the clock back a little bit to last Saturday. The team went down to Delaware, picked up a great 12-11 win over the Fightin' Blue Hens. Went goals by Dylan McIntosh had a hat trick. Rory Jones had a hat trick. Thinking back to it, what are your thoughts following the team's performance against Delaware?
Yeah, I mean, I am one that through over my time as a coach, I always kind of like to think back, especially in the locker room after a win or a loss, on how that week went and what played into certain things. So coming home from Fairfield after a loss that we just thought we let one get away, and had it, and we just weren't strong enough at the end to hold on to it. The following week of practice leading into Delaware was angry, was focused, and that's the way it has to be with lacrosse. And the guys were pretty good. And then as we got through the trip and pregame, it was more of maybe we got to start to throw away the scouting report. It's already embedded in what we want. But let's just be together today as best we can. We need everybody to do something a little bit better, but without sacrificing something that we're already doing well. And let's see where that brings us. And, to credit to those guys, they were together during good times and in bad. There's ups and downs in every course of every game, of every sporting event. And those guys stayed together. And, a couple of unorthodox goals in a 10-man clear, that Delaware, they ride that way. We didn't out ground ball Delaware, but as I told the guys, we picked up a couple of ground balls that were probably worth two, because they just came out of a pile, or they ended a possession, or they continued an offensive possession. So the value of a ground ball could have two different meanings. One, if you just pick one up uncontested in a corner, you get a ground ball. You get the same one ground ball when you run through a pile of guys and get slapped around a little bit and you come out with it. You still just get one ground ball out of that, but that ground ball has more value than the one prior. And so, we picked up a couple of important ground balls, battled at the face-off X, got a couple of guys that were focused throughout the entire game, and that's what it needed to be. So, obviously a good locker room after the game, a good ride home. And, the unfortunate part is we're at the time of the season where celebrations cannot last very long, because you're right back in it in the thick of the teeth of the CAA schedule.
Definitely, especially going to what's going to be a tough home game this Saturday. I kind of want to talk about the face-off unit for Hofstra. Hasn't been going, I don't think, according to plan this coming into the season, but back-to-back games, finishing above 500 in face-off win percentage. Chase Patterson had another very solid game at the X, 15 to 27, 8 ground balls. What change have you and the coaches made going with the face-off unit to get that much to improve the success rate?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think just staying at it and staying with our guys, right? It'd be easy to just point the finger, and it's just not what we do. We're actually, at sometimes better when things aren't going well on getting answers versus not trying to upset it even more or making matters worse or things like that. Brian Herbert's been doing a great job in practice, and we are thrilled to see him starting to come out of it. Chase Patterson has just been, steady and a workhorse, and, taking everything that Delaware threw at him, whether it was a pole or face-off wing play, he just handled everything and got us a possession advantage, which we haven't had for most of the year this year. But I love where Brian Herbert's at right now. We have not forgotten about him. He's a captain of our team. He's very important. He's unbelievably supportive. And, we're not going to be hesitant to go to him if we feel like it will help us win, versus Drexel. And right now, everybody's in that time of the year where it comes down to little thing, a coach's adjustment, a making of a play, a hitting of a pipe, a call by an official. Those are the things that could dictate, whether you get a W or an L.
Yeah, it's not every team is able to have. We talked about this at the beginning of the year. A two-headed monster at faceoff. Your words, with Herbert and Chase, and even throwing in Ben Niesman in there. He's a nice third rotational option. So it's good that Brian Herbert, even if he has been struggling a bit, he still has that positive, getting behind Chase, giving him all the support that he needs, and the rest of the face guys on the wing too. Will Delaney, Danny Oakes, Corey Kale, Dalton Cease on the wings. Like it's great to see everyone is still, still positive and still trying to make things work. And it's starting to turn itself around.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it wasn't just a flash in the pan. Hopefully we can be good, consistent. And again, I don't know what the final score will be on Saturday, but if we can have that effort and that focus and that anger going into the game on Saturday, then I know it'll be a one of those good quality CAA games again.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Saturday, it's Drexel. Played them in the CAA championship game last year. Didn't go Hofstra's way against your old college buddy, Coach Volker. Drexel, they're coming off a really tight 19-18 win over Fairfield. They're 5-5 on the year. I think 1-1 in the conference. Drexel, they've Reed Bowering's not coming back, but they still got some guys that can sling the ball around on both ends of the field. What have you guys seen from Drexel, and how does Hofstra stack up against the Dragons?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, they're a very talented team. They graduated some guys, but not many, and they got some talent. So, I know that statistically it says that they were, they're off a little bit, facing off much like we were and are. The scary part is they're not facing off the way they want to be facing off, but they're still scoring a boatload of goals. So when that happens, how efficient their offense is. Mm-hmm. And I know what type of Coach Volker is, and certainly Coach Boyle and Coach Durkin that flank, Coach Volker. I know what type of guys they are and what type of coaches they are. So we've got to be on our toes. Their top 5 scorers are all within 5 or 6 points of each other. So if it's not one guy's day, it's another guy's day, but they can put up some points. There's no getting around it. Defensively, they got Ross Blumenthal in the goal. They've got Quinn, and they got a bunch of guys defensively that they play a very tight brand of defense. Again, I think we watched the Fairfield game in preparation for this one, and as good as a game as the score was, there was some chaotic moments in that game that I don't know if we can simulate of what could happen this Saturday, right? There was a lot of broken plays that turned into goals and things like that, where you're not getting an idea of what they're doing offensively or defensively, because there were so many things that were done in the gray or in some broken situations. But they've got some middies that can draw slides. They've got some attackmen that can finish the ball. They're good in the middle of the field. And again, it's going to come down to who could let the game settle in quickly, but stay as focused as we can, not let the lows be too low, don't let the highs be too high, and let's play as hard and be together as possible on Saturday at 3:00.
Yeah, it's the Drexel game, just like every CAA game, they're just dog fights. So this is I don't think the opponent matters. It's just no matter who's facing off against Hofstra, it's going to be a war on Saturday, and I think a lot of people are going to be looking forward to that one at 3 on the MLAX Sports Network. The second of a home doubleheader for Hofstra, with the women playing at noon. Follow everything you can on Hofstra Men's Lacrosse and all of Hofstra Athletics at gohofstra.com. For head coach Seth Tierney, I am Nick Capitos, and thank you for joining us for yet another WB Mason Coaches Report.